From where did Or and Sof come? From the Ma'or, right? From the luminary. From godliness as a source of light. Before Or and Sof was revealed, where was it? It's in its source, like the rays of the sun. Where are they before they shine out from the sun? They are in the sun itself. Good evening. Tonight is the eve of Zayin Shvat. I do want to dedicate the Shir Le'ilui Nishmas Avi Mori, my father, Alav Shalom, Reb Tzvi ben Yehuda Halevi, that today, Vav Shvat, was his Yortzeit. And he should have a lichtige Gan Eden, and very, very, very soon we should reunite Neshama Beguf. He was, we are on page Yud of our booklet here, and Ois Gimel. We have learned how the Baal Shem Tov explained the inyan of Tzimtzum, that in order to create, Hashem wrapped himself with 400 levushim, Bereshis bara Elokim Es, from Aleph to Taf, to create all the way down the whole Seder Ishtalshelus, Tzimtzum after Tzimtzum, and levush after levush, until the physical world, all the worlds. And then Hashem even continued and covered himself with more kisuyim, with more coverings, and with more shells and klippos, tov, avo, b'kitzur, the realm of ungodliness. And all this was done through Shem Elokim, Gvura and Tzimtzum. And then the Rebbe brought the Magid that says, yes, that's true, but aseh lecha shtei chatotzos kesef, that Hashem made so many tzimtzumim through so many worlds. Why? Kedei sheyeh achdus im ha'adam, in order to unite with men. Because as is, man lo yachol lisbol et beirasoi or beirusoi. Man cannot tolerate the brightness of the appearance of God the way it is. So Hashem covers himself up with many levushim, and he expects that we should divest ourselves from our end. I mean, he does it in order to create intimate relationship with us, and we should divest ourselves of our coverings, of all the attachments to the external appearance of reality, to the physicality of Olam Hazeh, to the chumrius of the body and the ego and so on. And all this in order for the two chatzai tzurot, the two halves, to unite. So man unites with the God himself as well with the God Bichlal, with God Bichlal. So now we know that really the Tzimtzum is not just in order to cover himself up so worlds can come about. That's how we began understanding from the Baal Shem Tov, but also understanding from the Magi that all this is done in order to really make possible a real relationship with us. Now in page Yudalet and Ois Gimel, the Rebbe is continuing to explain the inyan of the Tzimtzum, continuing with the Alter Rebbe. We went through the Baal Shem Tov, the Magid, and now the Alter Rebbe, which brought amazing chidushim into the understanding of the Tzimtzum. And we perhaps should also understand that now the Rebbe is going to take us, and he began, as I said in the previous shiurim, through a journey of understanding the evolvement of the understanding and internalizing the Tzimtzum from Rebbe to Rebbe, starting from the Baal Shem Tov. And this is perhaps a guide to take us through the different aspects, levels, stages of Tzimtzum and the understanding of Tzimtzum in Kabbalah and Hasidus, that really we are guided how to evolve and grow our consciousness when we are facing life. And when we face life, there are many Tzimtzumim. So this is really not just a theoretical concept in Hasidus, this is a personal guide for us. And we can also look at that this way. So now I want to make Akdama in two points, or 2.5. One is just to create the stage that in the development of the understanding of the Tzimtzum, according to Kabbalah, there are 4, and Hasidus, there are 4 stages. Basically, the first main 2 stages is the notion that the early Mekubalim thought that in order to be able to create worlds, Hashem had to remove himself. That means is that Tzimtzum is in the Ma'or, in Hashem himself as the source of everything. Then came a further understanding of the later Mekubalim and certainly Hasidus, that the Tzimtzum did not happen or does not happen in the Ma'or, in the luminary, in the source, rather in the light only. We have Ein Sof and we have Or Ein Sof. We have the source, the infinite source, and we have Or Ein Sof, the infinite light that the Ein Sof radiates. So the later notion of the understanding of the Tzimtzum is the Tzimtzum is not in the Ma'or, in the source, rather of light, rather in the light only. Then you can add to it another progress in the understanding of the Tzimtzum, and that is if the Tzimtzum is Kipshuto or not Kipshuto. That means, is it a literal Tzimtzum, that Hashem removed himself literally and created a vacant space, or removed his light literally, and now there is no Or Ein Sof in that space where worlds are supposed to be emanated and created? Or it's Shelo Kipshuto. What does it mean, Lo Kipshuto, not literally? It means that literally nothing happened. There's no Tzimtzum at all. Rather, the Tzimtzum is only to the Mekablim, to the perceiver, to the Mekabel, but not to the giver, not to the source itself. So the Tzimtzum, so now we have the Tzimtzum is in the Ma'or, in the source, yes or no? And if it's in the Ma'or, in the source, is it Kipshuto or Lo Kipshuto? It means to the Mekablim, to the recipients, it looks like a Tzimtzum. But there's no Tzimtzum Kipshuto, it's only to the Mekablim. And then the second level of the Tzimtzum, if the Tzimtzum is not in the Ma'or, that means that the Ma'or is always Be'gilui, Be'izgalus, and this is the Chidush of the Alter Rebbe. That there is no Tzimtzum in the Ma'or at all. In the Ma'or, in the source, there is no Tzimtzum at all, and the Rebbe will explain it. The Tzimtzum is only in the Or. which means in the Ma'or it's not Tzimtzum Kipshuto and not Tzimtzum Lo Kipshuto, which means in the Ma'or, in the source, there was no Tzimtzum at all, not literally, and not even from our perspective. And the Rebbe will bring the Alter Rebbe that says that even Shem Shamayim Shagur B'fi Kol, that the name of God is on everybody's tongue, even little children. Oh my God, what? When the last time you read the Bible? It's a natural thing for human beings to bring up God. Why? Because Atzmus is Begilui. There's no Tzimtzum in Atzmus, in the source. Now the question is, the Tzimtzum in the Or. So Chassidus brought it to the latest Chidush, that yes, the Tzimtzum is only in the Or, and even in the Or Ein Sof, even in the light of Hashem, it's not Kipshuto. The light wasn't taken away. The light is here, and we know, Mata Aden Tachlis. Or Ein Sof is right here. Elama lo Kipshuto, to us, we don't see it. Not because it's not here. It's like if you have a whole range of radio frequencies, but you don't have a tuner to perceive it. So Hasidus is mechadash that not only that God himself, the source himself, is here, and Begilui, but even Or Ein Sof is here, and it's not even metzumtzam, it's not even concealed, even not lo kipshuto, even not virtually, even not for the recipients. It's revealed fully. Elamai, it depends on the kelim of the recipients, if they are ready or not, if they are refined enough or not. That's the chidush. That means we're never disconnected. And these are really 4 levels of consciousness. And hopefully with time we will explain. That's one hakdama. That's one point that I want to preface. The second one, the first level is if the Tzimtzum is in the Ma'or, in the luminary, in the source. And in that, Kipshuto or not Kipshuto. That means is it a literal Tzimtzum, that the source removed itself? Or it is not Kipshuto, it didn't remove itself, but it concealed itself from us. These are these like sub-levels, so that makes it 4. It's one which is two. And then the second is the Tzimtzum is not in the Or, in the Ma'or, not in the source, not literally and not to the Mekablim either. No Tzimtzum at all. The Ma'or is here and Begilui. And therefore, is no problem for a kid to talk about God, even though he doesn't know anything about him. That's the Gilui of the Ma'or. Now the second category is if there's no Tzimtzum at all in the Ma'or, not Kipshuto, not Kipshuto, but the Tzimtzum is only in the Or, in the light, in the infinite light. And there also there are 2 shittos. Is it Kipshuto, means Hashem removed his light? That's what you could get. You could think like that from reading the Arizal, that he removed his light al atzad, on the side. We will talk about it. You could think like that. Or it is lo kipshuto, as Chassidus explains, which means it's not literally. Or Ein Sof is here, but it's not begilui to us. And even that, the Rebbe will explain that even this is a question because it's us that could have a keli that perceives it or not. But in any case, if there is a tzimtzum in the Or, it's lo kipshuto. That's the latest, most contemporary look at the tzimtzum. The tzimtzum is in the Or, that we don't see Or Ein Sof, but it's only to us. It's not an Or Ein Sof is not here, it's here, but to us it's concealed. That's 4. That's the 4 of the level 2. The 3 is that it's in the Or and Kipshuto. Let me repeat from the beginning. Number 1, it's in the Ma'or Kipshuto, literally. Number two, it's in the Ma'or, but lo kipshuto. Not literally, just to the, it looks like that. Concealed his presence. Number three, it's not in the Ma'or at all. It's in the Or only. But kipshuto. That means Hashem took away his light. His self-expression. And the last one, number four, it's in the light, but not even kipshuto. It's not literally that he took away his light. Light is here, but it's to us, it looks hidden. It looks taken away. It's lo kipshuto, not literally. To us, it looks like this. These are the four shittas. And Chassidus, of course, are, the last. So now, the second point. The second point that will come up is that we will learn how the Tzimtzum, we will learn about the Tzimtzum, what we call the Tzimtzum Arishon, the primordial, the first primary Tzimtzum, that occurred in Or and Sof, in the infinite light of God, in order to enable the Metzius of worlds, the possibility for the Metzius, for the existence of finite world, eventually. Now the truth is that until the Tzimtzum Arishon, which the Maimar is discussing, what happened to the Or when Tzimtzum happened, and that we will discuss a lot. But we also have to have in mind, and especially with the association of Or, the treasure, the Otzar, that now is made available to us, Or and Sof Lemala, Mala, Ad and Kates, that actually there were, and I'm saying were, Tzimtzumim before the first Tzimtzum. Many of them, and perhaps, and almost surely, bigger than the first Tzimtzum. Now I said where, and the Rebbe also will start here, Lifnei HaTzimtzum, before the Tzimtzum. What do you mean Lifnei HaTzimtzum? Lifnei HaTzimtzum, there was no time then. So when we say Lifnei, when we say there was a Tzimtzum, the Tzimtzum is happening all the time. It's above time, way above time. But in terms of levels and what comes first, what comes second, not in time, but in levels, that's why you will see the Lashon Lifnei HaTzimtzum, before the Tzimtzum. So you should view it as a level, not in time, because it was far from time yet. Because there was no even halal created yet. So in any case, the point I'm making now is that there were many Tzimtzumim before the first Tzimtzum, and usually Kabbalah and Hasidut are refraining from discussing it because it's like getting into the Kodesh HaKodashim, it's God's world, and out of reverence and respect, we usually don't discuss it. It's brought in Hasidus and in other Sfarim, but not much. But I can tell you that's very gross, in a very gross way, and there are many levels and sub-levels, that even before the Tzimtzum, talking about Ma'or and Or, when you talk about HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, there's no words. He's not a Ma'or, he's not a source of light. Perhaps the biggest Tzimtzum that he has to make in himself is to become a source of light. We're not even talking about that. We are talking about the Tzimtzum that he decided to make in his light in order to enable the possibility of the existence of worlds. But nobody is talking about Tzimtzumim within God himself, within godliness itself, before the Tzimtzum. So there's, at least you should talk about one huge Tzimtzum is between God himself, which is beyond any words and descriptions, and becoming a ma'or, as we call it, because a luminary, a source of light, a source altogether. It's a huge Tzimtzum. We have no concept of this Tzimtzum. And then you should talk about another Tzimtzum, which is the Tzimtzum between being a ma'or to becoming or. From being a luminary to now there is light. There is tremendous Tzimtzum. In those who learn Sha'ar HaYichud, remember the Yachid and Echad and Kadmon, Shi'er Be'atzmo, assessed within himself. This is all before the Tzimtzum. And you can find it in Kabbalah and here and there in Chassidut, that these type of tzimtzumim are called tzimtzum in a way of ribua, meruba. The regular tzimtzum that we are talking about, the tzimtzum arishon, the first tzimtzum, which is not really the first, but it's the first regarding worlds, is described as an igul, as a circle. The Arizal describes it as a circle. That Hashem, that we will discuss in a moment, God willing. But that tzimtzum, before the tzimtzum arishon, those tzimtzumim within godliness itself, and even before godliness, if godliness is or, you can find a tzimtzum in a manner of square. And I don't know anything, but it's kind of involves Shem Havaya, which has the four expressions of the Shem Ma and Sag and I'm sorry, Shem Ab and Sag and Ma and Ban, the four miluim of Shem Havaya. Each one of them is one corner of the square, and then you fold the bottom square, which means the Ma and Ban, up. The bottom two edges you fold up, and you cover the top two edges, which are Ab and Sag. Ein Beis Shem Ab and Shem Sag, Chochma and Bina. But you find the Shem Sag has one more extra letter. The others, Ma and Ban, I think have 19, and maybe Shem Sag, we can count after. Milui of Yud and Aleph, it's 63, has 20 letters. So when you fold the square up, you have one extra letter sticking out. That's the Yud of Shem Sag. That's the Yud of the last Hey of Shem Sag. And that Yud is a Tzimtzum that represents that from there began the next level. So anyhow, I don't know anything. I'm just sharing with you, just planting a seed, and there are Tzimtzumim before the Tzimtzum Arishon. Okay, so this is like have it in mind. So when we're talking about Tzimtzumim be'ilui achar ilui, what you're talking about is that really what is made available, the Otzar that is made available to us is that divine Amshacha, which is even before the Tzimtzum, ilui achar ilui, all the way to Atzmus itself. That's the Otzar of Yiras Shamayim that comes down, that will inspire all of us to be completely devoted to Yiddishkeit, because this inspiration of Yiras Shamayim will take over us. And this is made available now. And it is nimshach through the Chassidus that you're learning right this moment. Yeah, that the Otzar that is made available, that we're talking about in chapter 15, which is Lemala Mala Ad Ein Kates. You can understand that the Ad Ein Kates Tzimtzumim, the higher you go, where does it end? When you go into Atzmus. but that's what we are getting. Lemala mala ad en kates. Can you think about it for a moment? This is made available to us. Beyond the Tzimtzum. Lemala mala, peeling after peeling after peeling, that to us it looks like a Tzimtzum because it's higher, further from you. No, it's really Ilui after Ilui after Ilui. You come closer and closer to the essence of God. And that is going to be Begilui. And that is Dira B'Tachtonim. And that will come along with the whole spirit of Mesiras Nefesh that will take over the Jewish people. And you already see the lights of it. In our relationship in Torah and Mitzvahs and Hashem, and our shlichus in the world. And that is accompanied and responded by Otzar Milamayla, that as Tzibus HaShavayeh, as the Anshe HaChayil, as the foot soldiers that each one of us are, that are now on the battlefield with the last war, which is all about the kingship itself. We are all received, first of all, we are all called for being soldiers. That means that the Rebbe explained what tzava means. That means that you are a soldier. Tzava means an army. But tzava also that everything has to be done in time, is connected with the amount of time, to bring everything into time, into discipline, into order. Mesiras Nefesh of a soldier that is not changing from the order of this divine service, and has Mesiras Nefesh for that, and does it in tzava also means harmony and beauty, in the most beautiful, balanced, integrated way. But tzava also means beauty, a combination of colors. But in a few oisios ago, the 2 points I made it, the 4 stages of the understanding of the concept of the Tzimtzum, and the fact that there are Tzimtzumim, and perhaps, and not only perhaps, way greater than the Tzimtzum Arishon before the Tzimtzum Arishon, prior to that. Anyhow, this will come up, don't worry. It's just giving you just a akdama. Now let's look inside. Gimel, page Yudalet. Umamshich ba'hamayma. Now the Rebbe says that the Frierdiker Rebbe is continuing in the Maimar in Ois Tesvav, in the 15th chapter, and he quotes the Frierdiker Rebbe, Dehine lifnei hatzimtzum, haya ha'or en sof begilui. Before the Tzimtzum, and again, before doesn't mean in time, there was no time yet, but prior to in Maila. Haya ha'or en sof begilui. Before the Tzimtzum, the Or Ein Sof, which means it's not only the Or of the Ein Sof, the Or itself is Or Ein Sof, is infinite. It's the infinite light. Was Begilui, was completely revealed. Ukmo shekasuv be'etz Chaim, as it says in the Eitz Chaim of Reb Chaim Vital from the Arizal, טרם שנאצלו הנאצלים היה אור עליון פשוט ממלא את כל המציאות וכולו. How shall I say that? You can learn this explanation of the Rebbe 10 times, and each time another depth. We do what we do this time, but you should know there's so much more under the words, in the words, that we're going to learn. But I don't want to overwhelm ourselves. But in any case, the Eitz Chaim says that before the emanations were emanated, which means the general worlds, all the way to Atzilus were emanated, before the worlds were emanated, Haya Or Elyon Pashut, there was an undifferentiated, a simple, plain, undifferentiated, simple. Pashut doesn't mean primitive, it means plain. undifferentiated, formless, infinite, unlimited, ממלא את כל המציאות וכולו, was filling the entire existence, the entire reality. Now, what is Metzius? What Metzius was there? You can ask, but okay, the Rebbe doesn't go into that. But whatever was reality then, it was filled with Or Ein Sof. Or Ein Sof was בגילוי. ועל ידי הצמצום הנה נסעלם האור אין סוף וכולו. And through the Tzimtzum, now in order to create the possibility of an experience of a Metzius that eventually will be emanated and even created, which means feeling separate from its source, in order for limited finite beings to be created, Hashem had to conceal his light. ועל ידי הצמצום הנה נסעלם האור אין סוף חולו. To the Tzimtzum, the Or Ein Sof became hidden and concealed. Now we have a vacuum. We have like a halal, the absence of Or Ein Sof. ומזה מובן עניין נוסף, and from what the Frierdiker Rebbe, the Rebbe is saying, the Rebbe Shlita is saying, that from this you can understand an additional point, and that is from what the Rebbe said, the Frierdiker Rebbe just said, and that is שהצמצום הוא רק בבחינת האור, שהיה ממלא את כל המציאות. That the Tzimtzum, from this right away, from the Eitz Chaim, you can understand already that the Tzimtzum wasn't in the Ma'or. The Eitz Chaim, from the Eitz Chaim you can learn that the Tzimtzum was only in the Or. Not in the luminary, not in the source, only in the light. Okay? Oh, so the source, and this is the Chiddush that the Alter Rebbe made a point to get it into our mind, that if we say that the Tzimtzum is only in the Or, according to the Eitz Chaim, that means that the Ma'or is always Bizgalus. That the luminary and the source is always Begilu, is always here and revealed. In any case, the Tzimtzum היה only בבחינת האור that was filling the entire existence. This is when the Or is begilui, right? But now the Rebbe says, מה שאין כן, this is not the case, כפי שאור אין סוף למעלה חולו הוא בשורשו. This is not the case. You cannot apply the idea of Tzimtzum regarding Or Ein Sof the way it is higher in its source. Which means, from where did Or Ein Sof come? From the Ma'or, right? From the luminary. From godliness as a source of light. So, before Or Ein Sof was revealed, where was it? It's in its source. Like the rays of the sun. Where are they before they shine out from the sun? They are in the sun itself. So the Rebbe is going to say that if you are talking the way the light, the way it comes out of the Ma'or, there you can talk about Tzimtzum. You can talk about Tzimtzum. But because light is about Ispashtus. Light is about extension from the source. Oh, you talked about extension from the source? There could be all kinds of extension, extending far, extending lot far, this kind, that way, this way. Like the rays of the sun, a kind of thing can happen to them. The light, Or Ein Sof, also doesn't become independent. Or by definition, by default, is never independent. It's always completely depending on a Ma'or. That in the Ma'or itself, there is no hispashtus of light. It is part of the Ma'or. It's the Ma'or, there's no light there separate from the Ma'or. And therefore, which means there's a potential of light. But there's no light there כפי שאור אין סוף למעלה הוא בשורשו, the way Or Ein Sof is high in its source, in the ma'or b'bchinas ha'atzmus, in the essence of godliness, in the essence of the ma'or, before the or comes out, so to speak, ששם there לא שייך לומר שהיה אור עליון פשוט ממלא את כל המציאות. It cannot say, as you exactly what you said, Chaya, that there in the Ma'or, in the sun itself, you cannot say that there was אור עליון פשוט ממלא כל המציאות. הרי שם הוא רק עניין היכולת. But this is really even higher than the sun, because the sun is a creation that Hashem made that has no choice, להאיר or לא להאיר, to shine or not to shine. The sun has no choice. The sun is דבר בהיר, by default. Hashem created it like this. But in Atzmus, there is always bchira, there is always choice. And therefore, just as Atzmus has the yecholes, it's called, which means the ability, the possibility. It's a far potential. There's nothing in existence other than Etzem there. But in the Etzem, there is a yecholes. There is a possibility. There is an ability. So in an option, you cannot say there is a tzimtzum. If you're talking about this pashtus, about extending and revelation, okay, there you can say there is more or less. You can talk about tzimtzumim. Hide it more, hide it. You can do all kinds of things to the rays of the sun. Filter them like this, filter them like that. But when you talk about the ma'or, which means, and now let's go to the ma'or lemaila, the godliness as a source of or and sof. And by the way, or and sof, when we call it or, it's only a mashal. It's not identical at all to the physical or as we know it. It's just a mashal. And the mashal is taken by the Mekubalim because of the relationship between or and ma'or, that or doesn't have an ego. Or and sof has no ego. All it is just megale the ma'or, which is great. And the Alter Rebbe taught us, the Alter Rebbe made so many chidushim in our consciousness, and said that because, as when Basi Legani we learned it in previous years, last year, even before, that because Or and Sof has no ego, which means there's no yeshus by itself, no sense of self separate from the ma'or, separate from its source. Because of this, Or and Sof can bring and transmit all the qualities of Atzmus, of the essence of God, of the Ma'or, including creating Yesh Me'ayin. And that goes vice versa. That means that we who are interacting with Or and Sof all the time, in terms of being able to internalize it and connecting to Hashem through it, and our Or and Sof is invested in Chochmas HaTorah and so on, and in mitzvahs. A lot of my marim about all this. So since the Or has no ego, the Or can transmit the quality of the Ma'or, including number one, creating us Yesh Me'ayin, because the Or cannot create. But since it carries the quality of the Ma'or in it, the energy of the Ma'or, it creates Yesh Me'ayin. And also we can go back from the Or, we can go back to the Ma'or and connect with the Ma'or. That's a big chidush of the Alter Rebbe. But in any case, what the Rebbe is saying here, that when it comes to the Ma'or, when it comes to Atzmus, there's no Or, that you can say that there was a Tzimtzum in the Or. There was just Yecholes. It was just an option. That since it's Kol Yachol, it's Shleimus of everything, and it's Kol Yachol, it's omnipotent, then it includes everything, and everything comes from it, so it's Sha'arei Sham hu rak inyan hayecholes. There is only the inyan of Yecholes. Yecholes is the highest level of potential. There is a potential that you can sense, like, you know that you have. There are many levels of potential. The potential of your hand to move. Koach hatnua. It's a potential. But you can, any moment you can use this potential and you make a move. That's a very revealed kind of potential, but it's potential. you know. Then there is a potential of, let's say your seichel is learning something completely new. So where is it learning it from? From what we call koach hamaskil, from the potential of seichel, which is above the brain. That's another potential. It's it's called koach hamaskil. The potential, koach is also potential, term for potential. But it's koach is always connected to poal. It's a potential that must be revealed. That's very close to revelation. And you know that if I concentrate, I'll get it. Or if I'll concentrate, I will come up with an insight. Why? Because I sense that I have a source from where I can draw understanding, draw insights, draw a flash of understanding. Koach hamaskil. That's another potential. But it's still a potential that is close. Then you have kochos na'alamim, a power that the mother picked up a cow and the child got stuck under. From where did this come? This is the way. There's like a difference between the potential of fire in a hot coal, the potential for a flame, or a potential of flame of fire in a flintstone. There are all kinds of potential, even in the potential. So in any case, Yecholes is the highest and deepest one, which means there's no form, it's not separate from the etzem. Even in a flintstone, that a flintstone can be for many, today I'm going all over, I'm sorry. A flintstone can be many years under the water, yet you take it out and you rub one and another and the spark will come out. Because it's not like the potential of a flame of fire in a hot coal, or cold coal or hot coal. That potential is very superficial, it's close to the surface, and therefore if you throw a coal into the water, the fire will be put out. Because this is helem the shayach to gilui. It's a potential the shayach to gilui. It's called koach also sometimes. And then you have hiyuli. Hiyuli is a deeper potential, like the flintstone, that he cannot. Yecholes is higher than hiyuli. Yeah. Yecholes is how everything. The flintstone is there. Water cannot put it out because it's such a deep level of hiyuli that it's not even Hamshacha ne'elemet, not even a hidden fire. It is a potential fire. It's like and therefore the difference is, in a hot coal, all you need to do is fan on it a little bit or blow on it a little bit and the fire will come out. A flintstone, you have to hit it, strike it in order for the spark to come out, because it's a deeper potential, further from Gilui, from revelation. Then you have Yecholes. Yecholes is how everything is in Atzmus. There's nothing but etzem. Nothing. Yeah. It's just a possibility, an option, you say. But it's not there, because it's only plain etzem. So there, Sham הוא רק עניין היכולס. There's no order, there's a Yecholes. It's not a process. Yecholes is how etzem has all options, but not as parts of it. It just as an etzem, but not in a way that one is divided from the other. It includes everything in a manner that nothing has a metzius at all. Formless, infinite, and even beyond. That is, but as such, everything comes from there. There's only one God, right? So everything comes from there. From the Ma'or, right? Every or comes from the Ma'or. But in the Ma'or, the Rebbe says, there's no or, there's just Yecholes, it's just an option. So therefore, you cannot say that there's a Tzimtzum. There's not Tzimtzum in Yecholes, in the ability. There's a Tzimtzum in the or. Once you generate something, you can hide it, conceal it, turn it this way, that way, cover it, whatever you want to do. But if there's only a potential, there's nothing happened yet. So how can you do a Tzimtzum in it? And that's what the Rebbe says. Azai lo shayach gam inyan hatzimtzum. So in the level of etzem, tzimtzum is not shayach. וכפי שמבאר רבנו הזקן בארוחה בתור האור בליקוטי תורה, שעניין הצמצום הוא מקום פנוי וחלל, הוא רק בהאור. And therefore the Rebbe says that the tzimtzum and the makom panui, the vacant place, so to speak, and the halal, at least for what looks to us as halal, is only in the light. It cannot be in the ma'or. It cannot be in the source, it can only be in the light. That's the chidush of the Alter Rebbe. אבל במאור לא שייך צמצום חס ושלום. But in the ma'or, in the luminary, in the source, no tzimtzum applies. והיינו, שבעניין האור ששייך בו איספשטוס, that regarding light, that is spashtus, which means, how do you say spashtus in English? Extension, expansion, spreading. These are all verbs that shayach to light. So regarding the manifestation, the expansion, the spashtus, shayach bo gam tzimtzum. The tzimtzum applies. ומה שאומרים שעל ידי הצמצום, צמצום האור נשאר מקום פנוי וחלל, and what the מקובלים say, that through the tzimtzum, what happened when Hashem concealed and took away, so to speak, the or, then a vacant place remained, makom panui, a vacuum, so to speak, the halal, a vacant space, that in that the worlds were created. And in Kabbalah, sometimes you hear it like, silek oro al hatzad, that if you have an eagle, you have a circle, and Hashem took from the center of the circle and pushed all this orange soap that was filling the whole eagle, the whole circle, pushed it all to the side, to the edges of the circle. So now what do you have? You have an empty circle surrounded by the rest of all orange soap.
Wow.
And that's the halal in which the worlds were possible to be created. And sometimes you see the other way around, and both are true. Here we don't discuss it now, but I just want you to know that. And sometimes you see the other way around, that he tzimtzum its entire light into the central point. It's also true. Because that is showing us how Hashem included his light back into the ma'or, into the source. That's one of the ways to understand the tzimtzum. But in any case, what is the Rebbe is saying here is, the ma'or lo shayach tzimtzum chas v'shalom, only in the or. That means that the ma'or is always here, and begilui. And מה שאומרים, what we say, that through the tzimtzum a vacant place was remained, חלל, a vacuum, הרי זה רק בערך האור. It's only regarding and relative to the light, not the ma'or. It's not empty from the ma'or. It's empty from the or only. The ma'or, the essence is still there. And begilui. And the chiddush that the Rebbe will make all the way down to the Rebbe, that even in the or, it's not even literally. It's to us, it looks like it's not there. But the ma'or, let's begin with that in the ma'or, it's not that the really halal is nothing in the empty space. The ma'or is there. The source is there, begilui. But the or now is gone. Okay, tzimtzum, concealed, hidden. שתחילה היה האור בגילוי באופן שממלא את כל המציאות. That first the light was in a revealed manner. That means that it filled the entire מציאות. שלכן לא היה מקום למציאות העולמות. And therefore, this is talking about Or and Sof, and worlds are finite. There was no room for mציאות of worlds. And therefore, as long as Or and Sof, infinite light, was filling the whole mציאות, there was no possibility, no room, not only in terms of physical space. We're not talking about physical space yet, but not even the concept. Not even the potential of gvul, as long as the Or and Sof was filling the mציאות. מצד, why? מצד רוב בהירוס האור. One way to look at it is because, as we learned from the Magid, because of the Behirus Haor, that the light, the Or and Sof, is so infinite and so bright that no worlds would be kalim for it. To tolerate it, Kelshon Toras HaMagid, as the Magid said in the previous page. ואחר כך כשנתעלם האור נעשה מקום פנוי וחלל. But then when the Tzimtzum happened, and now the light is concealed and hidden, then there's מקום פנוי וחלל, there is a vacant place in the halal, a vacuum, that now enables פירוש. What do you mean halal? פירוש הוא חלל וריק מן האור. It's empty from the light. שאין בו אור ויסגלוס כלל. There is no light and isgalus of light at all. So you see there are two things, or visgalus. That means the hispashtus and the gilui or is missing. But even the or itself is still there. The gilui or, the hispashtus of the or is missing. That's the tzimtzum. Yeah, but it's not a literal empty space because number one, the ma'or stays. Two, even the or, what is missing in the tzimtzum is the hispashtus of the or, the gilui of the or. But the way the or relates to the ma'or, the etzem ma'or is still there. That's what the chidush of Hasidus. So en bo or, that means now the or is missing, is hidden. Visgalus also is not revealed. So it looks like there is no light and certainly no revelation of the light. אבל המאור, but the מאור, the source, הנה גם לאחרי הצמצום, המאור בסגלוס בכל מקום. Even after the tzimtzum, the מאור, the source, the luminary is everywhere, is here, in your rooms, right now. וכמובן בתור האור, שלכן אפילו תינוקות יודעים שיש שם אלוקה מצוי, שיש שם אלוקה מצוי, כולו. That's what the Alter Rebbe brings in Torah Or, that this is the reason that even little children know that there is God exists. That there is a God that exists, they know. And it's very simple for them to, you don't have to become sophisticated for them to get it. שזהו עניין שם שמיים שגור בפי כל, או בפי כל. That the name of God is on everybody's mouth. That everybody, I remember, when the Twin Towers fell, everybody was on their knees. Oh my God, everybody's praying. What? What happened? The Maor is Galus. Simple.
Wow.
Next time, in Mir Hashem, we will go deeper now into what happened exactly to Or and Sof regarding the Tzimtzum. That as Or and Sof includes, according to Avodas HaKodesh, the Koach HaGvul and the Koach HaBli Gvul, and as long as the Koach HaBli Gvul, the power of infinity was revealed, the power of finitude could not be revealed. And then Hashem had to hide the power of infinity. So the power of Gvul, of finitude, which is part of Or and Sof, will be revealed. You could ask questions here too. I don't want to never end learning this Maimar, but what does it mean that as long as the Rebbe, we're going to learn that as long as the Koach HaBli Gvul was revealed, the Koach HaGvul, in order to create worlds, even though it was there, was not apparent. It could not function separately from being swallowed and overwhelmed, so to speak, by the Koach HaBli Gvul, by the infinity. So Hashem hid the infinite in order for the finite, the possibility, the power of finite, to emerge. The question is, you can ask a question. I'm just teasing a little bit, mental teasing. It's easy. Why God is Kol Yachol, Hashem is Kol Yachol. So what does it mean? Why couldn't reveal both powers right away? It wasn't so simple. He hid it and then he reveals it, and that hints into us. It's all about. The focus is Koach HaGvul, and our part as Shtei Chatzai Tzurot, as we learned last time, is we are half of a form, and Hashem and the godly in us is the other half. So as Hashem wished that there should be a gvul, there should be a creation that will feel itself independently of the source, which is the expression of the Oitzar, the Or Ein Sof Lemala Mala Ad Ein Ketz, that could hide himself so much, even though he creates every molecule and every atom, every moment of our body. Nevertheless, he can be so hidden, tzimtzum achar tzimtzum, ilui achar ilui, that we can even deny his existence. And all this because the gvul is so important. It's important to Hashem that we should use our power of choice to choose to be His, that our relationship should be authentic. So our gvul wasn't revealed right away. This is just my thoughts, this is just extra little candy here. But next time in Yirtzeh Hashem, we will go into the process of how the Tzimtzum happened in Or Ein Sof, and the fact that the Tzimtzum is only legabeinu, is only from our perspective, and then the Rebbe will get us deeper into the question of if we say every day in Ashrei Malchus Cham, Malchus Kol Olamim, your Malchus, that means Malchus of Ein Sof, before the Tzimtzum, is the Malchus of all worlds. From there, all worlds were coming. Through Ishtalshelus. Tzimtzum after Tzimtzum, but still, how can you say that if Malchus Cha, the Malchus of Ein Sof is Malchus Kol Olamim, how can you say that there is no Shinui, Ani Havai Lo Shanisi, when the worlds are created? Tremendous Shinui. And not only that, if Malchus Cha, Malchus Kol Olamim is like a rope, that if you shake the bottom all the way to Malchus of Ein Sof, it will go to Malchus of Yetzirah, Bria, Atzilus, will climb back like a rope. How can you say there's no shinui, no change? If you say it will all the way down to create this physical world, even Klipos, how can we say there's no change? Are you kidding? Okay, the Rebbe will save us from that. Bezrat Hashem. He concludes that what is Or Ein Sof Lemala Mala Ad Ein Ketz, Bichlal Hu Inyan HaTzimtzum. That's how the Rebbe, Frierdiker Rebbe says, and the Rebbe quotes it. And the Tzimtzum shows that you're right. The Tzimtzum shows really on the real Otzar. But to hide yourself to this extent that the other can have his own Metzius, so you can have a relation. The Tzimtzum enabled the power of Gvul to emerge. That's called the Reshimu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now the power of Bli became concealed. So now the power of Gvul gets priority, so to speak. And now when Hashem wants to bring back into this halal, now from Or Ein Sof will come Kav Katzar, a narrow, short line, which will be the source of all Seder Ishtalshelus. Now that Hashem is now taking this Or Ein Sof in a manner of Kav Dak V'Katzar, and brings it back into the igul, into the circle, into the halal, into the empty space, so to speak. Now it has to consider the power of Gvul that showed up to work together. And now it has to go through the power of Gvul. And now Oraka will now be subjected to Tzimtzumim and to gradual descent and evolvement of worlds.